Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Redonkulous Gaming. This is Veetster, and today I'm doing a play and review for Steamworld Heist, the Ultimate Edition for the Nintendo Switch. This is a game that came out by Image and Form, and they kind of put it into the Steamworld, obviously, world. And comes right after, kind of in the timeline where Steamworld Dig 2 occurred. And you take on the role of a captain that basically needs to shoot their way through enemy spaceships, kind of meet some mission objectives in order to really survive in the aftermath that happened after Steamworld. It's kind of interesting because a lot of it occurs out in space and you boarding ships, and it's a tactical shooter. I would say it's kind of like XCOM. Kind of XCOM 2, but kind of on a 3D scale. So there's up and down, left and right, but you don't have the full side to side motion. So you don't have the XYZ. You kind of just have that up and down, left and right feature. Makes it a really interesting games. It does take that kind of SteamWorld type artwork, which is kind of cool, and you can kind of see the story in the background as it occurs. It's a fun little game. There were some issues I had with it, and we'll get onto it as we go through and play the game. As you can see, I'm kind of a little nervous to play Elite because I wanted to get some gameplay footage of me actually succeeding. So today I'm actually going to just play on a veteran mode, but each of the modes definitely give you some challenges. So you do play as Piper Faraday, and she has her basically crew, and you board ships. And what's cool about boarding the ships is that the levels are kind of procedurally generated, so you're not playing the same kind of levels again and again. So there's kind of that replay factor with that procedurally generated world, which is kind of neat. As the game progresses, there's more challenges, more advancements. You get weapons, you get skills for your characters, you get kind of aesthetic hats and stuff, and there's a lot of things to collect that can really change the dynamic of the game and how you kind of approach each battle. Whether you're using a shotgun or a pistol or a rifle, each of those kind of play a role, even with the ricochets, how you go. So here's me entering in. So let's see what happens. The graphics, they're very reminiscent of SteamWorld Dig and SteamWorld Dig 2. So they're very straightforward, they kind of match it really well. It's kind of cool to kind of see different characters in this different environment, which I like. And one of the cool things with the movement, I think, one of the things I like about it is you have kind of two movement factors. One where you can run really far, and you can see that where you have a sprint section, which is in blue, and a regular section, which is in yellow. And where when you go into the sprint section or you go into the blue mode, you'll see later on that it won't allow you to shoot, that you can just move. And in this game, the ricochet plays a big role, and as you can see, there's also slight breathing movement, so you do have to take a lot of time and be patient with your shots to kind of make sure you get those headshots, because in any game, a headshot does a lot of damage. And one of the things that's pretty cool about it too that I've learned is, you can go ahead and you can shoot hats off. So here you can see, there's not the sprint option yet, so you're kind of limited in your movement each round. But if there's no enemies on the screen, basically you go pretty fast to the rounds. But here, let's show the game will show you the sprint motion, how it works. So you have the capability to sprint and hide behind barrels. So what you do is you do have these barrels and kind of obstacles in the way that can kind of stop. And here's me not sure what the hell the sprint is, so I'm trying to sort it out. But there you go, I got it. So now I can kind of defend against it, but I can't shoot. But the other thing that's kind of interesting too is your barrels or your defensive barriers, they have a limited health, and also you can see like kind of where the walls are. You can kind of shoot through kind of the floor, some of the floors. Anything that's black you can't, but anything else you can kind of shoot through, which is kind of cool. And you can see now I'm kind of doing that power shot, which killed it in one shot. Oh yeah. So yeah, so you can see there's still that sprint factor, which is interesting. And it changes. It kind of plays a role in your strategy of the game of how far you want to move. Sometimes you do want to take a big, fast run to get to a place. Sometimes you want to strategically move slow, and I've learned the hard way that a lot of times rushing in is the foolish thing to do. And those barrels also don't necessarily give the best protection at times. Like you can see on the bottom, there's that kind of barrel that's leaning on its side versus the other one. And here, I'm trying to figure out. Let's see what he's got. I don't even know what kind of gun he's got. So let's see. It looks like a pistol, but I don't know. So it's a shotgun. So obviously those, I'm guessing, is going to be good in close range, but nothing else. Come on. Ah, come on. Why did I ricochet? I was too impatient. See, again, that's me rushing the shot. So now because I rushed the shot, I, miss the ricochets, or I accidentally aim and just totally miss altogether. So here, trick shot. Let's see if I can get the trick shot. Oh, denied. Look at that. So here, I'm taking advantage of shooting a little higher for the shotgun. But you can see my barrel's kind of gone down. So again, so the game itself is actually pretty interesting on the tactical aspect of it, because you play that role and suddenly you don't have a barrel, so now you got to find a way to defeat them. So screw it, let's go in close, let's do a power shot, and let's call it a day. Let's just blow them away. So that's kind of, you do take that strategy involved. The other thing too is you have to collect everything, and one thing I'm not a big fan of is after you get to a certain point where there's no more enemies on the ship, you still have to go turn after turn just to get to places. Like here, fortunately, there's still enemies, so it's worthwhile. So so you still need your turns, but later on, as I've gone to levels where I don't have enemies and I'm just collecting treasure, it still takes a lot of time just to go through and collect those treasures. But you can see they're trying to charge at me, and they're trying to get me twice, from the top and the bottom. So you do have to have that strategic aspect of both sides, from up and down. And see, he gets right through it, but now I can punch him. Let's go! Knock him out! Oh yeah, here it goes. Oh, dynamite! Yeah, so really cool, and as you can see, now I've collected everything. Now it's just a matter of collecting all the treasure, but you can see it kind of is a pain, because now I have to take my time and go through each turn just to get to where I need to go. The one thing I'm not a big fan of is that there's no kind of just defense. So like you can pass your turn by holding down the Y button, I believe, but it doesn't really give you any defensive buffs, which would have been kind of a cool aspect of the game, is if they kind of give you that defensive buff. The music, it follows again, and as you go through the game, you'll see that the music, the sounds, the graphics, they all follow kind of the Steamworld kind of graphics that have been set forth in the Steamworld Dig games. And, the storyline is pretty straightforward. You've lost your crew, you're trying to get back, and you're trying to get them back and, rebuild your crew and upgrade your characters to do what needs to be done. There's a lot of humor in it, which I like. A great little bit of humor in the writing, which makes it kind of fun. But it's kind of your normal kind of slapstick humor, and typical, like brevity that occurs in kind of most of these spacefaring movies, or even shows. Kind of like Firefly or anything like that. It's kind of fun like that. But as you can see, that here I'm moving to the second level, and you can see it's kind of a map-based type game where you can collect number of stars, and depending on what you collect and how you do it, and your skill set, what you can and can't do. So here you can upgrade weapons, you can add them as you collect them, and you can upgrade your character as they gain levels. They'll gain new skill sets. So that's kind of the unique aspect, is your characters do grow. And unfortunately for me, or fortunately for me, is when I've died, I've just straight up died, and so it just resets the game and scratches both your characters. I don't know if you can lose characters like in XCOM, so that's kind of an interesting thing that I need to spend more time playing and figure out. But I have a feeling that you probably get your characters back if you do it, because even when you die, everybody comes back, and it's no big deal. So there's not that sense of urgency to lose. You're not so concerned. But you kind of do need all your players in order to successfully pass a level, just because those extra shots can make a difference, because you can then flank from top and bottom. But like you see in this case, this level, I can't shoot from the top at all, and so that kind of limits my attack capabilities. Either I have to go all in or not at all. So anyways, for this game, with how it is and how it's been designed, I like the game. I think there's a few flaws with it. Again, with I think some of what they could have done, whether it's defensively and stuff. And I think there's a lot of upgrades, which is kind of neat. Sometimes the shooting can be very fussy, or because again due to that breathing aspect, which I don't understand with robots. Maybe we can say it's a gear mechanic, but it makes no sense why robots would have kind of a breathing behavior where you fluctuate up and down based on some breathing or some certain momentum of the body. You would think that there's a perfect aspect to that doesn't have an issue. But overall, I could say that this game easily gets an 8 to 8.5 out of 10. It's a good game. It's a lot of fun. So I hope you guys enjoy kind of this playthrough, and yeah, this has been about a 10-11 minute video, but I hope you guys enjoy this kind of play and review design. Hopefully give you some more of the game to kind of check it out instead of just cuts that we've been doing in the past. I think it gives a little more value to understand how the game's played and how the mechanics work. So that's kind of why I've kind of moved to this, and we're going to see how you guys like it. But if you guys do like it, definitely please leave a note, comment in the below, and also visit our website and subscribe if you like it, and like the video if you do. Definitely if you don't, please let us know too, so we know what to do and what to fix.